Well, that was a pleasant surprise.
Scream.
I hear you're a horror fan.
Hey guys, it's Jim. Welcome back to the channel, and it's time to talk about Scream 6. Now, if you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know I didn't like Scream 5, and I was very skeptical about this series continuing. And my expectations were pretty much in the ground for Scream 6. Then I saw the trailer. You know what? It got me intrigued. I thought it looked okay. But this movie really blew away my expectations. I think this is actually a really, really great modern day slasher movie and a great Scream movie. Somehow it has taken this franchise from the depths of poop that was Scream 5 and just re-energized it. And I'm really excited. And I've got a video on this channel saying please don't make Scream 6 and 7. At this point I'd be open to Scream 7, and I can't believe I'm saying that. I can't believe how much I like the characters in this, because I really didn't like them in Scream 5. You know, Sam, the new character Sam, the new main girl, and her sister Tara, and their friends. I didn't like them in Scream 5. I didn't get invested. I was just like, this is so forced. You're just trying to do the exact same story with a new Sydney. All I care about is the legacy characters, and it did piss me the hell off when they killed Dewey. So I'm still, you know, I still prefer the legacy characters, really. But you know what? To make me care about these characters is a huge achievement, and I have to give credit to it. And it's because they focus more in this film, there is a lot of character stuff. There's lots of moments between Sam and Tara where you gain sympathy for their sister Bond. I think the performances are good, and I don't know if it's, you know, seeing her in Wednesday that's got everyone, I guess, emotionally invested in her. It might have, you know, because I really enjoyed Jenna Ortega in Wednesday, so maybe that's opened myself up. I think she's a really, really good actress. She's just very sympathetic, you know, and I find everyone sympathetic in this, which is, again, I found them annoying as hell in Scream 5, but in this they take little moments to have them sit down and actually discuss this crazy whirlwind that's going on. Scream 5 for me felt too self-aware. It felt like people weren't having genuine conversations. In Scream 6 there's actually genuine conversations about trauma, about moving on, about the effects of this, about what happens when this happens to you, because again, you know, it was all treated kind of jokily in Scream 5, and to an extent Scream 4, to be honest. This whole saga was treated a bit jokily, whereas this is taken very seriously. This is a very serious film. You know, it still has some of the Scream jokes, etc. It looks like they actually made a concerted effort to actually say, right, let's actually take serious what these people are going through, because at this point it's ludicrous, isn't it? So they need to actually sit back as characters and analyse this. I'm not going to spoil much in this. I will get to a spoiler section in the video, so, you know, don't worry, there won't be spoilers. But there is an element in this, a commentary on what happens when this happens to people, how the internet reacts, how people get cultish, how people jump to wrong conclusions, what would be the world's reaction if these Ghostface attacks really happened? And I think it probably would be what this film shows in this, which is a lot of people being stupid and jumping into conclusions and thinking they know it all and targeting people. It's about that internet pile-on that happens. And I thought that was an interesting idea to explore. And I found Sam very sympathetic. She doesn't deserve anything that happens in this. You know, the good thing about Neve Campbell as Sydney is she was such a likeable character. She didn't deserve any of it. Whereas Sam is basically that, with a few more elements added to it. You know, the idea that she's Billy Loomis's daughter I found quite stupid in Scream 5. I actually think they elaborate on it well in Scream 6. It's like, yeah, what would your life be like if you did have a violent killer who is responsible for all of this? It's about Sam holding on to her humanity, holding on to her goodness in this. And in that sense, it's a very human performance at the heart of Scream 6. It's about holding on and not letting bad things define you and send you down a path because it would be maybe the easy path, or maybe the path that you're being drawn to, but you know it's wrong. It's about holding on to empathy and holding on to faith in humanity. There's bonkers shit that happens in this, guys. This is a mental film. In a sense, this is quite fan film-like, but I wouldn't use that as an insult, because fan films today are bloody great, aren't they? You know, there's so many good fan films. There's fan films that are better than, you know, there's a fan film YouTube called Scream Legacy, which is better in all ways than Scream 5. So calling it a fan film for me isn't a criticism. What I mean by that is, it's mental. Like, it's literally, it seems like fans have got hold of the franchise and went, right, I'm just going to throw on screen the most outrageous Ghostface stuff I can think of, because I want to see it, because I'm a fan. Like, I want to see bonkers shit with Ghostface. And you know what? When you've got to Scream 6, I'm okay with them doing this. I'm okay with them throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. And I think a lot of it sticks in this. I think Scream 5 was too safe. Scream 5 was bland, in my opinion. This is just balls to the wall. You do not know what is going to happen from any moments to next in this film. This is unpredictability to the max. This is mental. Like, the opening of this film, I did not expect in a million years. Like, and the thing is, you could have a go at the Scream franchise now and go, oh, it's so predictable now. We know the formula it follows. We know that it's just going to be the same sort of thing delivered in a different way. I could sit anyone down in that cinema and they're not predicting what happens in Scream 6. They're not. And if they do, I will shake their hand. That's what I was shown in this film, that there's creativity left, that there's intrigue left, that there's energy left. I thought this was a series dead on its arse. I thought it had nothing. No creativity. This shows there's still places you can go with Scream. There is still things you can do. There are still ways you can shock the audience. And I'm surprised you're able to do that 6 films in, but I take my hat off. There are some big shocks in this. Crazy stuff in this. And there's some mental kills. You know, and there's some suspense. You know, even though it's a wild, crazy, brutal film, so many brutal kills, there is suspense. You know, that scene that you see in the trailer, I also think they shouldn't have put it in the trailer, of the ladder going across between the 2 windows. Your heart's in your mouth in that scene. That is such a sympathetic scene. You really feel for the characters. You really want them to escape. And I feel like that scene is shot incredibly well. I feel like it's a standout scene in the Scream series. Now, when I say that, you know, this is fan film, it's over the top, it's crazy, I love that about it. It's super entertaining, super fast paced. At the same time, yes, it is forced. It has to be. You know, a 6th sequel is always forced. Now, the difference I think is Scream 5 felt bland, annoying and boring, and I didn't like anyone, and forced. This feels entertaining as hell, fast paced, great, couldn't look away, great characters, you know, but it was forced. But that doesn't really matter to me, because every sequel is forced, you know, and it's just, believability is stretched when we get to this point. Like I've always said with the Scream franchise, what is going on? Like, literally every few years, someone gets a chip in their head and goes mental and becomes Ghostface. Think of the effort. Like, every few years, a psycho goes, right, put together this whole plan, get the Ghostface costume, get the Ghostface mask, you know, everyone I know, get the phones, get the, you know, the events all planned for the end. Oh, should I do that now? I'll do that last. Fuck it. Like, just always, all this shit of just a zooming whirlwind of preparation these psychos would have to do every 2 years. Why is there a psycho becoming Ghostface every 2 years? It doesn't make any sense. The president would need to go on TV and go, look, we don't fucking know what is going on. Something's going on where it keeps being Ghostface killers every few years. We're looking into it. We're looking into whether there's something in the water. Or if it was when Donald Trump was still president, he'd probably come on and go, yes, I know it's terrible, but we have the best ghost faces in the world. It's nuts that this is still going on. It makes no sense that killers would keep on repeating this way. You know, you can see killers happening, but not becoming Ghostface, and always focusing on this legacy of Ghostface, always linking it back to this legacy. It doesn't make any sense. No one would be that emotionally invested, even if they were bonkers in all this. So it's forced. You know, the reveal is the dumbest part of the film, but it's gonna be. It's always gonna be hokey at this point. Just to mention, I think Courteney Cox is great in this. I think they really realised they made a mistake killing Dewey. They realised that they really do have, you know, some of the best characters in the slasher series, with Sidney, Gail and Dewey. No way in hell they should have killed Dewey. The presence adds so much. Courteney Cox adds so much in this. Her scenes with Ghostface are great. They're great. And I feel like there's a certain point that Gale has reached where she's haunted and she's running away from the death of Dewey, which I feel like they could have elaborated on it more. There's a touching moment where she thinks of Dewey, and every time Dewey's brought up, she kind of looks... Courteney Cox does incredibly well. She looks broken. It could have been more on that, I think. You know, to at least make the death of Dewey mean something more to me. Just show more of how it's haunted Gale. But overall, she's great in the film. She's full of her spark that she has. Courteney Cox still has it. I think Kirby is really, really good in this. To see her back in the franchise. You know what? Kirby's an underrated character because, you know, I never really liked her in Scream 4, but then I recently watched Scream 4 and she's super entertaining. You know, this actress is super entertaining. She's super... got a lot of charisma. You know, she was great. She's a blast in Scream 4 and she's a blast in this. Make her come back into the fray and fit right in, and with a good performance and something different about Kirby in this. It won't be what you expect. It's good to see her response to her experience with Ghostface. It's quite a proactive one, so I won't spoil it, but she's really, really good. She's really, really charismatic and fun. But she's got a certain sense of seriousness and sincerity that shows that Kirby has grown up. Right, I'm going to get into some spoilers, but I just really, really want to commend the actors in this. I feel like they see things through really, really well, and they stick landing. And you know what? I never thought I would not miss Neve Campbell. I don't miss her. I don't miss Sydney in this. And that's a massive thing to say. I do not miss Sydney in this, because the characters do that well. The actors do that well. To do that is impressive. Just so many franchises cannot bring in characters that match the original characters. They just can never do it, but they do it in Scream 6. It's such an achievement. Let's get into some spoilers on this. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, click off the video now. There is some nuts, bonkers stuff, as I'm sure you can imagine. I really recommend Scream 6. Watch it and come back to this video and let's talk spoilers, because it's great. I was really, really glad that they didn't kill off Gale. I think that's the way to do it with these legacy characters. They shouldn't die. Dewey should still be alive. And that scene with Gale and Ghostface is super tense. I really, really enjoyed it. And I thought Courteney Cox nailed it. And I thought that was a really heart-in-your-mouth moment, because you were like, we didn't want Gale to die. And then she did. You thought she died. And it really hit you emotionally. But then she didn't die, and I like that. These characters should survive all this. That's the difference between this franchise and others. And like, people could say, oh, right, but you should kill them at this point. But it's like, no. You know, when you've got characters that mean so much to people, look, you can kill them, but you have to do it in a really great way. And it's really difficult to do that without disappointing. And you want to see these characters come back. I want to see what Gale's... I want to see more of how Dewey's death affected her in Scream 7. I want to see more of Gale, kind of her haunted side. I want to see more of that in Scream 7. Maybe more of a focus on Gale in that film. But what a great scene. If she had have died in this scene, I think it was kind of a more worthy scene than Dewey's death, of course. So that opening where Ghostface kills Ghostface, I looked over to my girlfriend and it's like, we were just genuinely shocked. And again, for this franchise to truly shock you at this stage is very, very impressive. That opening scene is great. It's one of the best scenes in the Scream franchise. You know, again, I know I'm saying so much good about this film, but to get that level of good at Scream 6 is impressive. It just is. You know, to see Ghostface call Ghostface and then kill Ghostface, anything could happen from that point in the film, and I love that. I was just guessing throughout this film. Again, it does bring me back to that thing of, Jesus Christ, there was two other people who were going to be Ghostface before this Ghostface. What? The president needs to do something about this. There is something in the bloody water. I don't know how you can keep shocking like this, but I didn't know how you could keep shocking after Scream 5. I thought there was nothing left, so I'm open to Scream 7. They can do it again, they can do it again. I feel like maybe at this point you should hand franchises like this over to fans. Like, you know what? The new Ninja Turtles trailer by Fan, Seth Rogen, I think it looks fun. Let's see what fans can do. You know, these guys are clearly Scream fans. It's a Scream fan film, it really is. But again, not necessarily a bad thing, is it? So the killer reveal is really dumb. It's the worst part of the film. But you know what? I didn't predict it for a second. for an absolute second. I had some people in mind who I thought it could be Killer. I thought it would be Kirby. I really like how it wasn't Kirby, but you really think it is Kirby. Again, this film does masterfully well at keeping you guessing who the killer is. And, you know, but this family thing kind of makes no sense. It's kind of like a messed up dad lost the son, and then he went mental and radicalized his kids. Again, if this was like the first sequel, I'd buy it more, but for this shit to keep happening with people is just forced. But I do like, in a sense, the family angle of it. The fact that this dad made his kids mental is quite interesting. But why would this dad be obsessed with leaving the masks of all the ghost faces and recreating the ghost face thing just because his son liked the films? Would a homicidal maniac really go through all this, or would they just try and kill Sam? Like, you know, but that's Scream, isn't it? If you've always got to link it back, and that's the forced element of it. And it was over the top. The performance of the policeman, who's the leader of the killers, was cringe. The two kid killers were cringe. It was really cringe, you know. But you know what? It didn't ruin the film for me, because I loved seeing Sam and Tara kick ass. They were badass. They kicked some Ghostface butt, like, and it was great to see Sam embrace that inner killer, you know. And I feel like Scream 7 should explore the fact that she can utilise this when she's targeted by these people. How can she utilise it? How can she be violent and, you know, aggressive, but in the right areas, you know? In this, she's trying to work it out. In 7, she should have utilised it. She should be right. If Ghostface ever comes at me again, he is going to have the equivalent of Ghostface coming back at him. I kind of like that. That's somewhere you could go with Scream 7. Maybe Sam starts hunting Ghostface as Ghostface. That would be bonkers. Yeah, and you know, your heart goes out to this sister. I can't believe how much they have made me care about this this sisterly relationship, this sisterly bond. These actors deserve so much credit. There's so much heart to their discussions and their scenes together, and you love seeing them kick ass. You really support them. Look, when we get to Scream 7, it's going to be silly who the killer is again, but it's always silly, let's be honest. Scream 2, Nancy Loomis being a killer, kind of makes no sense. Why would she do all this? Why would she just kill Sydney? It kind of makes no sense. The Roman thing kind of makes no sense. Jill kind of makes no sense. It never makes sense. The only ones that kind of make sense are Billions do in number 1. But even then, it's like, are you telling me that's how you'd go about things? Like, they have to do it so elaborately in this weird way? It never makes sense who the killer is. You know, you kind of enjoy how hokey it is in a way. Scream 7, I'll tell you now. And I haven't screened script spoilers anywhere, so this isn't me in the spoiler section spoiling Scream 7. I think it's going to be Stu or it's going to be Randy. They have to do... But I did say this about Scream 6. I said they have to do something to make me care again. They have to bring back kind of an old killer. They have to do something. They didn't have to do that in this, and I still cared. So maybe we don't have that in 7. But I think they're going to do it. I think Stu is going to be the killer, or Randy. Because it just has to be. If Scream 7 is going to be the last one, in my mind, it has to be. And obviously Neve Campbell is very likely to come back. So it has to be a big combination that links back and makes you care and... you know, culminates the whole series and all the characters from it. To make that special and stand out, you're going to have to bring back one of the old killers. You're going to have to do something, you know, and I think that's going to be Stu or Randy. How do I feel like that about that? I think it's dumb. I think it's bad. But how they do it, I guess, is the question. At this point in this series, it's how they do it, isn't it? Because the series is forced, it is hokey. It's how they do it, you know. How they deliver that force and hokiness, you know. What do you guys think of Scream 6? Let me know in the comments below. If you're going to discuss spoilers, put at the start of the comment, spoiler, you know, in capitals, and then we'll discuss. Then it gives people a chance to look away, because not many people will have seen it yet. I don't want to spoil it for people, even when it's out. I feel sorry for those people who, when a film is out, it gets spoiled for them and they didn't get a chance to see it, and it's like, well, you should have seen it open night. Well, I couldn't, you know. So I don't want to have anything spoilers, so just put spoilers and then ... so it gives them enough time to look away. But let's talk about Scream 6 in the comments below. What do you think of this film, guys? Did you like it? Do you hate it? Are you looking forward to Scream 7? And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. We talk about movie geek content all the time. We do off-the-cuff stuff, podcast stuff. We talk about new films, classic films, cult films, horror. It's all on the channel. Click on the video on the screen now. I will see you guys next time.